Wes Unseld. I remember Wes Unseld in college. I remember him at Louisville. I remember him burst on the scene into the NBA with the Bullets and do something that only the legendary Will Chamberlain had ever done, and that is win the MVP as a rookie. The thing that comes to mind, two things probably came to mind. The blocky shoulders and the afro, and the fact that he threw the greatest outlet pass of anybody who's ever lived. No one threw an outlet pass on a fast break as well as Wes Unseld. The ball was gone before his feet ever hit the ground. And it was out there, and it was on its way to a lead guard, and away they went. And I loved, there were a lot of great matchups with those legendary Knick teams. But the one I've mentioned through the years that I liked, and I liked all of them. I liked them when they played the Bulls. I liked them when they played, obviously, the great Celtic teams. I liked them, but I loved them when they played the Bullets. Because there was such a perfect matchup there. With the backup, with obviously having Unseld, Gus Johnson, who matched up with, Unseld matched up with Reed, and Gus Johnson matched up with Dave DeBusschere. Jack Marin and Bill Bradley drove each other nuts at the small forward position, running off screens and running back and forth and never, ever stopping, always in perpetual motion on both ends of the floor. Early on, it was Kevin Lockery, if you remember. Some of you might remember Kevin Lockery as a coach. Kevin Lockery was a good basketball player. Shared a backcourt with the one and only legendary Earl Monroe. And this was the Earl Monroe of the Bullet days, not the Earl Monroe of the Knicks days, who subjugated his game and his ego to come to New York. The Earl Monroe of Bullet days, 26, 27 points a game, a whirling dervish with the ball back and forth, an unstoppable player in a very, very different style than anybody else played. It's just an incredible player to watch, exciting player to watch. And off that bench, you had guys like Ellis and Scott, that was like Gus Johnson was a tremendous player. You tell people, they don't realize Gus Johnson was a wonderful talent. Unseld would average, he didn't score a lot of points. He scored 12 points, 13 points, 10 points, but he'd get a lot of rebounds. And he would lead that fast break, play good defense, 6'7", 260 pounds, built like a cement block, small, but able to play bigger players, always having to match up with bigger players. And breaking in with that classic team with the Bullets, and then later on, having spent his whole career with the Bullets, and then later on becoming a coach and a general manager, but winning a championship with the Big E, with Elvin Hayes, with Bobby Dandridge, with Kevin Greavy and Thomas Henderson, Charles Johnson, and Mitch Kupchak, and all the guys who were on that team that won the championship. That one championship that they won. As a matter of fact, he was the MVP in the finals. Wes was. Wes Unseld, was he on the level of a Russell or a Chamberlain or a Jabbar? No. No, those guys are, top five players of all time. But he was a wonderful player, a unique player who brought a unique style to the game. And like we said, burst on the scene and made a difference. There are players who come in the game and make the game different as soon as they came in. Wilt did when he first came. You knew Wilt, what he changed the game. Jabbar did when he came in, he changed the game. Larry Bird did when he first came, he changed the game. Bird and Magic both did. But Bird especially coming to a bad team And Unseld stepping in and having the kind of impact that he had. 13 points, 18 rebounds, rookie year, winning the MVP as a rookie. That's an impressive feat. Think of all the great players, LeBron, Michael, Bird, go down the line, who have never done that. Even Bill Russell didn't do it. Wilt did it. Unseld did it. That's a special feat. So Wes Unseld gone today, and as I said, each day it seems like, and I guess when you do this as long as I've done it, you've been through generations. You've been doing this 35 years now, and then the people you started with or you saw as a kid, a lot of them start to go now, and they had such a big impact on you. And the people who watch those games, who watch those Bullet Knick games, are right now shaking their head saying, yeah, those were boy, what I wouldn't give to see one of those tonight. What I wouldn't give to go to Garden tonight and see one of those games. Because those were great games. Because the matchups fit so perfectly. They were just, each guy had a counterpart. They were just so balanced and so evenly matched. And in the middle of it, and without question, their leader for the Bullets. The Bullets had more exciting players. They had better players. But their leader from the day he got there was Unseld. That's just the impact he had. That's just the presence. Just like Willis, DeBusschere was the catalyst that changed things, but Willis was the foundation. He was the leader. Same thing with Unseld. Unseld was the leader. Hayes was incredibly talented, but always flighty. Monroe was the virtuoso, but that was his game. He was the scorer. But Unseld was the leader. Gus Johnson could soar to the sky and make amazing one-hand plays, jump over people. But Unseld was the leader. Had a great basketball life. When I came in today and I looked and I saw and it said Wes Unseld passed, I said, wow. I said, I have to spend a little time on that today because when I think back to an era, I think of Wes Unseld. It brings me back to an era of great basketball. It really does. And he had a great basketball life. A couple-time All-America in college. Stepping into the NBA and having the impact that he had. Also being a general manager and a head coach. As an African-American. Major impact there, too. So a great basketball life. Gone today at the age of 74.